Hello there guys, this is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and today I'm here with the mid-year book Freakout tag, which I'm super excited to do because I didn't get a chance to do it last year. I just missed it. I was tagged to do this by Victoria, the musical bookworm, whom I love. You should definitely check out her channel if you haven't. She's one of my Stormalong 2020 co-hosts. Thank you so much, Victoria. Question number 1 is the best book that you read in 2020 so far. That has to go to Flannery O'Connor's Prayer Journal. I've already read it twice and major Flannery love. Question 2, the best sequel you've read in 2020. I read a whole bunch of the series of unfortunate events in 2019 and 2020. I definitely think all of those sequels are worth reading so far. Like, hilarious and so smart. Just really smart children's fiction. Question 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet, but definitely want to. Well, this technically hasn't been released yet. It's released at the end of this month, June 2020. And that is a debut called The Brave by James Bird, who is an author of Ojibwe descent. And I heard about him on Nick Stone's Instagram. She's been interviewing, I think, Own Voices authors. And so I heard about him, immediately just wanted to read his debut. It's about a boy with OCD, and the author himself has struggled with something similar. I don't think he actually gave a name for what he was struggling with as a young person, but their talk was just fascinating and instantly made me want to read his book. It's a middle grade book. Question 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of 2020. And that, of course, is going to be the same answer that Victoria gave, which is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. We're doing the Stormalong 2020 read-along pretty much so that we can read Rhythm of War as soon as it comes out. And I can't wait. Question 5 is your biggest disappointment of 2020 so far, and that would be A Girl Named Disaster by Nancy Farmer, because I remember loving her Sea of Trolls books when I was a youngling, and I loved her book House of Scorpion. So A Girl Named Disaster came as a surprise and a disappointment to me. I just couldn't get into it. There wasn't enough character relationships going on. It was more of like a survival kind of journey plot, and that's just not my thing. It might be some people's thing, but just not for me. It was set, I forget which country, but somewhere on the African continent, and it was beautifully written in that sense. But yeah, just not for me, sadly. Number 6 is your biggest surprise. For 2020, I did start the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes because I loved the Hunger Games trilogy for years and years. It's still one of my favorite young adult series. And unfortunately, this one is just not living up to it at all. I only am 36% and I'm kind of debating whether I even want to finish it or not, or maybe if I should just watch a spoilery review. But yeah, that was a surprise to me because I just thought that there would be like a high octane plot with a lot of thematic elements like we have in the Hunger Games, and that's what I was expecting going in, and that's definitely not what I was getting. The world building just isn't as good, sorry to say. Question 7 is newest favorite author, and I wouldn't necessarily call Victor Hugo a newest favorite author, but I'm definitely excited about him right now because I just read The Hunchback of Notre Dame and it was such a good experience. I mean, there was some stuff in there that was hard about it that I didn't love, but overall, I did very much enjoy it. I really enjoyed Hugo's introduction to romanticism, and he just really got me thinking again about some stuff that I learned in college about English literature, and it was just exciting to me to read that and then like compare it directly to his work. It's really just fun to read things side by side, one that's supposed to be informative on the other. Question 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't really read books that would have me do that, I guess. Mostly I get nerdy crushes on whatever author that I'm reading at the time. So like Brandon Sanderson was a total nerd crush for me, and then Alexander de Tocqueville, and then now Flannery O'Connor. Question 9 is your newest favorite character, and I have a tie. I love Heidi from Heidi and Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Question 10, a book that made you cry. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Question 11, a book that made you happy. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I really loved the one essay from the Federalist Papers that I read last month. It made me so happy because it was like calling for some moderation and thoughtful discourse. I loved that. But since I've only actually read one of the Federalist Papers in its entirety, I figured I should probably pick something else, and so I'm going with the Stormlight Archives. All 3 of them make me happy. 12 is the most beautiful book that you bought or received so far this year. For that one, I'm going to go with The Complete Signature Classics of C.S. Lewis, which my high school English teacher sent to me in the mail. He sent me a whole stack of beautiful books, but I'm pretty excited about this one. I just got a whole bunch of books actually that I could have chosen for this. I think all of my books are beautiful. But yeah, this is just very nice. Question 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I would love to read City of God by St. Augustine, and or more of the Federalist Papers, Democracy in America, which I haven't touched since like last November. Any of those would make me really happy. And I'm gonna go with a bonus question that I found from an earlier version of this tag. So 14. Favorite book to movie adaptation that you saw this year? I'm going with Aladdin on this one because I don't usually like the Disney live action adaptations, and it's not like the Disney cartoon needed improving on, but I did really love the live action of this one. It's by one of my favorite directors. I really just love his directing style. He really brings this grit to every retelling he does, which is just something I approve of. Definitely approve of like a modern spin on a classic that just has a lot of energy, and this director has a lot of energy. Some people don't like that about him, and I understand why, but it just really appeals to me. And of course, I feel completely in love with the Aladdin in this one.
Who sent those ghouls to their lord? My Prince Ali.
It was such a cute story. I loved it. And I love all the music. I've been like listening to the Spotify playlist. Well, that is all for my questions, and now it's time to move on to some tags of some of my friends. Books with Kayla! She's a part of the Stormlong 2020 crew, and she has an amazing photographic style. Like, her bookstagram is just... And she does vlogs where she'll like bring that photographic style in there. And Red Rising, she talked about Les Mis and The Hunger Games in one of the last vlogs that she did. And I'm so glad that she's a part of this community. Consider yourself tagged, Kayla. Another of the Stormalong 2020 crew, Christy over at Lazy Owl, who has purple hair, which is awesome. I wanted purple hair when I was a teen, and my mom wouldn't let me, so I've never dyed my hair. Christy, you pull it off well. Also, I love your name. Christy talks a lot about science fiction and fantasy on her channel, and also comics. So if you're into purple hair and comics and SFF, go check out her channel. I just found out that my friend Carla actually is working on a tag video that I tagged her in a while ago, and before I didn't know that, and I didn't want to overwhelm her with tags. I'm going to just go ahead and tag you, Carla, because I always love to see your take on tags. Carla does book reviews and apologetics and Bible studies over on her channel, and I watch her channel so much. She takes up a lot of my watch time. Thanks, Carla. I would also like to tag Reading Wayfair. I learned about her from Ryan. I don't know the wife's name. I was checking all her videos to see if she said her name, and I don't know her name. I'm so sorry. And my friend Ryan can't answer his phone right now to tell me what her name is. I really like your videos. Over at Reading Wayfair, they just introduced their gigantic Tolkien collection to us. The husband has a real knowledge of Tolkien, and I was so impressed watching that. And also, the wife just did a video on Leanne Moriarty and her books, and she's read a bunch of her books, and she gave her thoughts on a whole bunch of those different books, so it's like an author spotlight type thing. And I'm excited to see them make some more videos. I hope they keep going. They took a break for a while, but they're back now, and I'm so glad. I would also like to tag Nathan from Nath's Bookish Thoughts, because he just joined the Stormlong 2020 crew just before our last live stream on YouTube, and he's been talking it up in the book club group, and I do appreciate that. But even more importantly, he has a really interesting channel. He combines classics with things like Stormlong 2020, which is so cool. That's what I try to do too. I try to combine classics and fun things, and I really appreciate that. And he has just started his channel. Everybody likes a new channel, right? So go jump on that bandwagon and subscribe to Nath's Bookish Thoughts. Okay guys, that's all for today. Please like and comment and subscribe if you enjoy tags. I always love the social aspect of tags. It's just a fun time. But I'd love to hear if that is your thing that you like to watch. If you'd prefer other kinds of videos, absolutely let me know. I would really like to hear an answer to that question actually. Do you enjoy watching tag videos or not? If you're watching to the end of the video, please tell me, do you enjoy watching tags or do you prefer other kinds of things? If you let me know in the comments, you get 1,000,000 hearts. Okay guys, I'll talk to you soon. Take care!